Good afternoon or good morning or good night, wherever you are. My name is Karen Curry. I am the founder of the Healing by Human Design System, and I'm super excited to be talking to you today about a topic that I am personally, I'm not gonna say I'm excited about, burnout, but it is certainly a topic that I love to talk about because I find that when we're talking about anything that's keeping you from really pushing through to maximizing your potential and living out the truth of who you are, aligning your energy, getting things done, making transformation and change, doing new and exciting things, the number one thing that I find that blocks people is burnout. And the way in which burnout works, what creates burnout, how we experience burnout, is a conversation that we don't have in a way that I think is most impactful and most powerful and most empowering. So today my intention is to share with you some information about burnout, about the effects of burnout, how you might be burning out at a really low level and not be aware of it, and how to stop that. I'm going to talk about human design, which is a synthesis of Eastern and Western astrology, the Chinese I Ching, the Hindu chakra system, Kabbalah, and quantum physics. It's a system that actually spits out a blueprint for your health and wellness. And if you don't have your blueprint for health and wellness yet, you can actually go to our Facebook page where you are right now, if you're watching on Facebook, and download our free Health and Wellness by Design report so you can get your blueprint for health and wellness. And if you don't have your free human design chart, you can go ahead and go to the Facebook page and you can click on that as well and go ahead and start following the instructions to get your free chart. If you do have your human design chart, you might want to pull it out and have it handy, because later on in this broadcast, I'm going to be going through some things in the chart that will influence the expression of your vitality and can potentially affect you, your energy, and if you're not using these energies correctly, can actually contribute to burnout. So welcome. And I look forward to, by the way, if you have any questions as I'm going through the presentation, Cindy, my assistant, is here listening and watching along with us. She's running all the questions and transmitting the questions to me. So if you have any questions, please post them and we'll do our best to make sure we get all of your questions answered. So let's get started. Cindy, before we get started, I just want to ask you really quickly, I feel like when I'm looking in the screen that there's a lag time, and I don't know if it's really blatantly obvious or if it's just me. Is that happening for you?
It's happening a little, but not really.
Okay. I'll just think of it as today I am bending the time-space continuum and I'm bilocating and it's causing a lag on the screen. All right, good. So we have to always start the conversation about burnout by actually saying, what is burnout? Because when we talk about burnout, the definition that we have for burnout is really kind of limited. You know, I think when we talk about burnout, we're oftentimes talking about, I hate my job, I don't like going to my job, or I work too much, and therefore because I'm overworked, I'm burned out. And I'm going to talk to you today, I'm going to blast that myth that burnout isn't from overworking or even from working a job you hate. There's much more to burnout than that. And you can be burned out literally from doing nothing on a couch. You can be burned out from a lot of different things. And for you to get your energy lined up so that you're in a place of expressing your vitality, the full energy that's available to you, you've got to understand what is burnout, what's causing your burnout, and some things that you can do to start to shift your burnout. Burnout is an energy state that keeps you from being fully engaged in life with joy, moving forward from the past. So if you're stuck in a story that you can't seem to break free from, that burnout sometimes will keep you from breaking free from those stories that keep you stuck. Burnout keeps you from expressing your authentic potential. It keeps you from making your authentic contribution to the world, and it keeps you from fulfilling your destiny. So if you're feeling like you really don't have your mojo going and there's something, you know, you feel like you're procrastinating or you're stuck or you're blocked, a lot of times we think, oh, I'm stuck, I'm blocked, and we go on these long quests for, you know, hidden self-sabotage patterns. And the truth is, it has nothing to do with hidden blocks or limiting beliefs, and everything to do with the fact that you're not correctly aligned with your energy, and maybe you're burned out and you've got to heal that burnout piece first. Burnout has a lot of different ways that it expresses itself energetically in your life. Physically, if you're burned out, you may feel tired and drained most of the time. You can actually have a lowered immune system. So you may, when you're burned out, you may be more vulnerable to things like colds or flu, or if you've got kids, you always end up getting what your kids have. Burnout can lead to frequent headaches. Actually, research, the American Sociological Association recently conducted a study and found that people who reported themselves as being burned out had a significantly different rate of back injury and back pain and muscle pain. So your support structure, your physical support structure, your skeletal system, in particular your back, oftentimes will let you know if you are burned out. Burnout can cause changes in appetite and changes in sleep habits physically. Emotionally, when you are burned out, you will oftentimes struggle with a sense of self-doubt or a sense of failure. You might feel helpless, trapped, or defeated, detached or alone in the world. You might feel like you have, or you're experiencing a loss of motivation, or a cynical and a negative outlook, and of course, a decreased satisfaction and a sense of accomplishment. Some behavioral symptoms of burnout include procrastination, resistance, avoidance. Sometimes we shut others out because we don't have the bandwidth to deal with anybody else. We're already having a hard time dealing with ourselves. Sometimes we use food, drugs, alcohol, or binge watch Netflix for days on end to cope. These are ways of trying to manage your energy. Sometimes when you're burned out, you will take your frustration out on others, or you'll fail to show up for work or show up late. Anytime we express what we call in human design and in the Healing by Human Design system, the not self, anytime we express the not self, we are out of alignment. And anytime we are out of alignment, we have the potential to experience burnout. So let's talk about what is the not self. This is a funny term we use in human design. It's just a very, very human design way of saying your inauthentic self. So anytime you express yourself in a way that is not true to who you really are, you run the potential of burning yourself out. That means anytime you say yes to things you want to say no to, anytime you say no to things you want to say yes to, anytime you're doing something you don't want to be doing, anytime you're being motivated to do something by unmet needs that are not allowing you to create what you want, if you're doing things because you have something to prove, if you're doing things because you don't feel good enough, if you're doing things because you don't know when enough is enough, if you're doing things because you feel pressure, if you're doing things because you don't want to make other people mad, all of those kinds of actions will use extra energy and will actually cause you to burn out. We say the not self is what creates pain and suffering in your life. The more you live off of your human design chart, and Cindy, if you can go back a slide for just a minute. This is what the human design chart looks like. This chart is a map for who you are, what you're here to do, and how you process energy. When you are not living true to yourself, it makes it difficult for you to stay aligned with health, wealth, and abundance the way you are designed to. This chart kind of acts like a filter, okay? Not a barrier. Some people say, oh, it's like a barrier. It's not a barrier. It's a filter, and it's a filter through which you actually can tap into the quantum field of infinite possibilities. The way in which you tap into that quantum field of infinite possibilities is going to be influenced by your human design, by the way in which you are uniquely configured to tap into those possibilities. Included in those possibilities, and as part of those infinite possibilities, is the energy of vitality, abundance, and the capacity for you to literally create whatever it is you choose to create in this earthly life, provided that you are creating from a place of being congruous or aligned with your authentic self. You may have heard, over the last couple of years, that whole authentic marketing, being your authentic self, living an authentic life. Authentic is a word that's been used over and over again to the point where I think we're kind of burned out on the word authentic. What I'm saying here is that you have actually a blueprint for your authentic self. You have an energy map for what that authentic self really is. It's not some strange, intangible, nebulous concept. You actually have a literal blueprint for your authentic self. And when you will live true to this blueprint, you can tap into greater levels of vitality, sustainability, energy, juice, joy, passion, fire. When you are not living congruously with your blueprint, when you're trying to be something you are not, it's going to make it difficult for you to reach out into this quantum field of infinite possibilities and pull back all of the energy, the juice, the joy, the abundance. All of that juice has a hard time getting to you because it's having to run a gamut and go through a maze to really reach you, and you can't quite reach out to better and bigger possibilities and better and bigger ways for you to stretch and expand and grow your potential. So, all right, back to slides, Cindy. Thank you. So when we look at the human design chart, it actually shows us the relationship between our physical body and our unique energy configuration. So it shows you the relationship between the manifestation of your energy being into form and your unique blueprint or your map for how to tap into the maximum potential expression of who you are in this lifetime. When we look at the human design chart, you might want to look at your chart at this point in time. And I just want to take a quick segue here and say, if you are new to human design, when you get your free chart, we will send you a report and a little audio video presentation that you can watch that will teach you about your human design chart, your unique chart, your energy type, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. You're going to get information for how to really bring out the best of that chart and what all those little bits and colors and lines and numbers mean. So if you're really, really new to human design, please get your free chart and please get your free report so that you're not going, what the heck is this thing, lady? You'll know what it is and you can kind of really get a good start on understanding it. If you want to go deeper in learning more about human design, I invite you to check out my book on Amazon, Understanding Human Design, The New Science of Astrology and Discovering Who You Really Are. This is a great book that walks you through all of the basics of the system and really gives you some powerful ways for you to go deep into what does your specific chart mean. And of course, if you really want to go deep into it, please visit my website, understandinghumandesign.com. I have lots and lots of amazing people who have been trained to read human design charts who can give you a real personal journey through understanding your chart. I always say if you have to give yourself one gift in the whole world, give yourself the gift of that chart, because knowing who you are and how you operate gives you the keys to the kingdom, to creating what you really want in your life. And it really shows you how you can break through to really living a life of vitality the way you're designed to. And let me show you how you are designed to live. So if you look at that chart, you'll see in the middle of the chart there is a diamond. That diamond is called the G center or the identity center. It is the center for love and direction. And I love that our direction in life has, to a certain degree, the same path as the direction for love in our life. So we are designed to move towards greater and bigger expressions of love in our life as we grow and mature. And we are designed to go in a direction that allows us to tap into greater and bigger reservoirs of abundance and support as we grow and mature. What the chart shows us, and this isn't specific to your individual chart, this is the truth in everybody's chart. What the chart shows us is that we are designed to create or to move in a direction in life that brings us opportunities to learn self-love, that brings us opportunities to learn about how powerful we are, that brings us opportunities to discover the uniqueness of who we are and our unique contribution that we are here to make in the world. We are designed to go in directions in life that teach us how to create new stories about who we think we are every day, to forgive the past, release the past, and move forward with a new story of who you think you are each and every day. And hopefully that story is a story that is aligned with vitality and abundance in every way. We are designed to grow and expand in our life when we seek our direction in life, not only from our own ego, but we actually surrender to serving something greater than ourselves individually. We are designed to go in a direction in life that brings us vitality and juice on a physical level. We're not designed to be struggling with energy. We're designed to be energetic, dynamic, and passionate. We are designed to go in a direction that positions us to receive all the support that we need to fulfill our destiny. Notice how it's about receiving, not about going out and forcing it to happen. We can burn out when we don't understand that we're designed to receive and be attracted and to attract into our reality. When we think we got to go out and make it happen, we tend to burn ourselves out. And we are designed to take ourselves in a direction where who we are and the choices that we make actually contributes to not only our greater good, but ultimately the greater good of the whole. What this means is that if you're not creating a life right now that's in alignment with loving yourself, with being powerful, with being authentic, with doing forgiveness and letting go of the past, with having a deep and juicy connection to source, if your life isn't taking you in a direction where you feel physically vital and dynamic, if you don't feel supported, if you are struggling to try to figure out what is your contribution to the world, if you've got these struggles going on, number one, it means two things. A, you're human. So right there, start writing a story about yourself, about how you forgive yourself for not being perfect, because no one is. And number two, what else shows this is that you're going to continue to attract opportunities in your life to discover what you need to discover so that you can live out the highest expression possible in this lifetime of all of these energies. So here's just something kind of cool about that. You are here attending this webinar right now. And what that means is that you have attracted into your life the opportunity to learn information that hopefully can help you discover some new and powerful ways to wake up these elements of who you are. So stop for just a second and congratulate your heart, because all of this attractive force is actually located in your heart, and say, thank you, heart, for bringing me here today so that I hopefully can learn something new that will help me tap into a greater level of vitality and energy and dynamic expression of my true self into the world. So good job, you guys. All right, next slide. Anytime we resist all of ourselves, okay? Anytime you resist any parts of yourself, including what I lovingly call your warts, meaning anytime when you don't lovingly embrace those places where perhaps you would like to be better, well, I'll use that word in air quotes, better than how you are right now. Any place where you may succumb to some of the foibles of the beauty of who you are, those places where sometimes you feel vulnerable, or you feel inadequate, or you feel like you have something to prove, or you're worried that people won't like you. Whenever you resist any of yourself, including those places of insecurity, we actually lose our energy, and we lose our sustainability, and we lose our resistance. The energy and vitality in your chart and the energy and vitality in your life comes from loving and accepting yourself exactly where you are and growing and expanding on that love and acceptance. It's resistance. Resistance creates an energy loss. So anytime we resist who we are, or anytime we resist what is truth for us, or anytime we resist the direction that feels most aligned with who we are, we actually lose energy and we start to burn out. We're not designed to have a compromised life. We're designed to have an aligned life that's beautifully congruous with who you are, that authentic, beautiful self of who you are. And anytime we compromise, we create resistance. And anytime we create resistance, we lose energy and we start the path to burnout. And it can be slow and insidious, or it can be massive and it can blow up in your face, depending on the intensity of your personality and the degree to which you are resisting who you are and the circumstances and situations that you have yourself in. So, all right. There are 4 root areas that we have to look at when we're healing burnout. I'm obviously not going to be able to get into the depth of all of these, so I do want to just give you an overview, at least for the intent and purposes of this presentation, because mostly I really want to give you some questions to chew on and some things to think about. Having awareness is a really important first part to healing burnout. Obviously, after you've gotten awareness of, okay, here's what's going on, here's what's not feeling right, here's what might be the root of it, we all have to get back into a process of healing burnout, which requires usually a significant prescription of rest and restoration. which by the way sounds terrible, but can actually be really fun because it's supposed to be fun, okay? And number two, sometimes involves using an integrated multi-energetic approach to realigning your energy so that you are tapping into possibilities in the quantum field and bringing back into your manifested reality different ways of being, different ways of expressing who you are, different ways of really being true to the person you were designed to be. And that process of using integrated energies, meaning subtle energy therapies, such as flower essences, essential oils, EFT, and tapping, and also working on really looking at what's keeping you from living true to who you are and deconditioning yourself, which we're going to talk about in just a minute, allows you to kind of clean up that filter that really influences how you perceive and how you receive possibilities from the quantum field. Cleaning all of that up is what we do with the Healing by Human Design system. So right now, my goal is to really, most importantly, get you some level of awareness and start to see where might you be losing energy. And as we go through the rest of the material in the program today, I want you to really engage with yourself and feel your way into, as we go through this material, whether something I'm showing you feels like, that's it, that's right. Pay attention to your gut, to your body, to your emotions, and your response to the material that I'm giving you so that you can tune in more deeply with a level of awareness about perhaps what might be keeping you from really stepping fully into the vitality that is your birthright. So, all right, the 4 root areas of healing burnout. The first area is what I call the area of resiliency. Okay, what the human design chart is, basically, if you really want to keep it simple, it's a Rolodex of archetypes. Contained within that human design system is a synthesis of multiple archetypes from many different esoteric sciences that have been in place on the planet for thousands of years, literally. When we blend all of those archetypes together and we talk about, okay, how do we need to be congruous with living out the highest expression of the story of who we are? You know, for us to be living that out, we have to be resilient. And what these archetypes, or these blends of archetypes, shows us is that you cannot be resilient and sustainable. You cannot tap into your full potential and live out that vitality that is your birthright if you are struggling with feeling lovable, if you don't feel powerful, if you're letting fear and your instinctive fears about life, your fear of inadequacy, your fear of the future, your fear of the past, your fear of failing your responsibilities and obligations, your fear of failing in general, your fear of everything's too hard and I don't have the energy for it, or your fear that you'll never get it perfect or you'll never get it right. If you've got fear ruling you and not letting you step with courage into your destiny, you're going to lose energy. Fear takes a lot of energy away from us. If you don't know how to make good and strong decisions in the way that's right for you, human design shows us that there are 5 energy types, and each one of those energy types has 2 different ways of making decisions. So there are at least 10 different strategies for making decisions in the way that is energetically aligned and correct for you. You have to understand what's the right way for you to make choices. If you've gone through your life making choices that you regret and feel stuck and trapped in, or you've gone through your life jumping into things and then losing energy a couple of days later because after you've jumped into it, you realized, oh my God, this was the wrong thing. If you're not making the right decisions because you're afraid to step into your power, or you're afraid people won't love you if you do these things, if you're not making good and strong decisions for you, you're gonna lose energy. Authenticity and having the courage, this isn't just courage, but knowing how to authentically express who you are and feeling that it is safe to be who you are in the world is an important part of maintaining your energy. If you're hiding parts of yourself because you think it's not safe to come out, or if you don't know how to express yourself, or you're afraid that if people see who you really are, you'll lose something. If you can't express the truth of who you are and you're hiding parts of yourself, or you're holding yourself back, or you're trying to be something you're not, you're going to waste and lose energy. If you don't understand your emotions and how your emotional energy works, and most importantly, how to leverage the power of emotions in creating what you truly want, your emotional energy is your most alchemical energy in your chart. Emotional energy is the energy that moves you. It's the energy that creates and attunes or synchronizes the rest of your energy body to be in a position to receive and attract everything you need and want. And if you're not using that energy correctly, or you don't understand that energy, it's very easy for you to get quagmired or hold on to energy that's not serving you, and it can actually take energy to maintain or hold on to, and not only that, can actually take away from your ability to really create what you want. Obviously, if you're burned out, if you're not honoring that burnout and being present to it and really actively engaging and healing it and bringing out the fullest expression of your resiliency, you're going to just keep burning out more and more and more. When you don't stop and tackle burnout first, if you're burned out and you don't stop and tackle it, if you try to ignore it or sweep it away, it does not go away. The more you resist the burnout, the more you burn out. And eventually you will burn out. You'll flame out in a big and bad way. If you don't trust yourself, you don't know how your own intuition works, and you don't remember how to tap into your innate inner wisdom, you will not be as resilient as you can be in the world, and you will waste energy. And last, but definitely not least, in fact, I would probably move this up to the top of the list, if you don't value yourself enough to take care of yourself and do what you need to do to nurture yourself and sustain yourself, you will burn out. Number 2, the second cause of burnout is oftentimes unhealed trauma. These are the things that have happened to us over the course of our lifetimes, and what we see now in the science of epigenetics, these are actually the things that happen to us even before we're born. Sometimes within our gene code, we carry unhealed trauma that's been transmitted intergenerationally to us over and over again. And when we are holding back or protecting ourselves or containing or restricting or cordoning off trauma, we tend to take trauma, and if we don't deal with it, we sort of make this energy bubble inside of us. If you're hiding these clumps of trauma in your energy field and you're not releasing them and aligning with them and reframing them and finding a different and new empowered meaning from these traumas, they will just keep drawing energy out of you, because it takes a lot of energy to maintain and sustain that trauma bubble that you've got in your energy field. The third thing that will oftentimes influence us and take energy away from us and create burnout are what I call mistaken motivations. Mistaken motivations are this. What the human design chart shows us is that we all have certain energy needs. Some of us need rest and restoration more than others. Some of us need alone time. Some of us need attention and recognition. Some of us need more power. Some of us need to have support and assistance in breaking things down into smaller and manageable tasks. And all of us have a need to feel loved and capable and powerful in every way. If over the course of your lifetime, you have not been given a way to learn how to appropriately get your energy needs met, if you haven't learned how to deal with power struggles, if you haven't learned how to sit back and trust in your own preciousness enough to wait for the right people to recognize you or the right people to give you invitations, if you haven't learned how to look at a big, powerful, important project and break it down into bite-sized steps and to deal with it in an effective, linear way, if you haven't learned how to get your need for love met appropriately, you will engage in behavioral patterns that will oftentimes create dysfunction or drama or pain or manipulation in your relationships. And when you're engaged in your relationships and you're engaged in the world, coming from a place of having not learned how to get your needs met appropriately, you'll actually use a lot of energy really trying to get people to either notice you or love you, or to be inappropriately powerful, or to feel overwhelmed and quit and stuck and hide, or to go out and lash out at people because you feel like they don't love you, and you'll burn lots of extra energy. Promise that one. So, number 4, your belief systems, the beliefs that you have about life, especially if you have a series of belief systems that say life is hard, life is challenging, life is never going to bring you what you want, that if you're going to have success in life, you have to be lucky and in the right place at the right time. Whatever your belief systems are, if you have belief systems that do not support that it is easy and joyful and abundant to be in this world, it will actually take a lot of energy to hold on to those belief systems and to create from those places. Because here's what happens. Your belief systems are part, not all, by any means, not all. They are part of the energies that contribute to what you create in your life. And if you have a set of beliefs that say life is hard, because you are so flipping powerful, you will darn right create a life that is hard. And if you're creating a life that's hard, you're going to be spending a lot of energy enduring that hard life you created because your belief system says life is hard. And then you're going to be wasting energy that you could be spending enjoying the ease and joy and the support that life has to offer you. So let's take just a 2-second break here. And I'm going to invite you in this little break to just stop for just a second and take a breath. You should do that too. And for just a minute, as you go through this material in your mind, or as you've been reviewing this material with me, as we've been going through the presentation, I want you just to take a second and ask yourself, what do you think has created your burnout? Where do you feel it? Are there circumstances that you're aware of in your consciousness that might have created this for you? When we went through this material, was there anything that you really resonated with or felt in your gut or your heart? And I don't want you to necessarily do anything with this right now, except for this. Just write this question down, or at least think about this. What needs to be released and healed for you to tap into the full vitality of who you are and the full vitality of the birthright that is yours? Okay? You don't have to answer it. You don't have to do anything with it, but I just want to invite you to take a little pause. Okay, and let's keep going because there's more. Let's talk a little bit about the physiology of burnout and what happens physically. When we look at the human design chart, what you'll see in the human design chart is at the center of, or rather the connection between your mind, which are the 2 triangles pointing up, and your body, which are all the energies below the square at the throat. There's a square there called the throat center. The throat center is the center for manifestation into action and the center for communication. It is, in the human design system, kind of a gearbox, in the sense that everything in the chart flows to this gearbox. And this gearbox determines what you create and how you create it. It's how this gearbox gets configured in each individual chart that determines the kind of energy you have and the ways in which you are designed to activate your energy and make good decisions. Contained within this gearbox is the thyroid, which is the master gland for the endocrine system. I would very gently say that because most people who I meet, at least in my practice, and most people who don't understand how they're hardwired, most people are not using that throat energy center correctly. And when you don't use that throat energy correctly, what we say in human design is following strategy. As I said, there are 5 energy types. Each energy type has 2 different ways of making decisions. One for those of you who are emotionally defined, and one for those of you who are emotionally open. And again, if you are new to human design, that's going to all be explained to you in the report that I'm sending you. When you make decisions correctly, or in human design we say, when you follow your strategy according to your type, when you follow your strategy, you actually protect your thyroid. So if you are acting out in the world, if you're communicating and being in the world in the way that is congruous or aligned with your energy map, activate and bring out the health, the full health of, and the full health wellness expression of your thyroid, and you'll have a healthy endocrine system, and you'll have lots of energy and vitality available to you. If you are not following your strategy, if you're not making decisions in the way that's right for you, you're not fully tapping into the creative potential of your energy type and using your energy correctly, you actually will impact the thyroid gland. The thyroid gland is the master gland in the endocrine system, and it controls the pituitary gland, the hypothalamus, the thymus, the pineal gland, the testes, the ovaries, well, obviously the thyroid's on there, the adrenal glands, the parathyroid, and the pancreas. If you get anything going on in the endocrine system, if the endocrine system starts to go down, you have the potential to experience adrenal burnout, diabetes, hyper or hypothyroidism, sexual hormonal imbalances, circulatory cardiac issues, cancer, Alzheimer's, dementia, ADD-like symptoms. Next page, because it's a long list of things here. Autoimmune disorders, depression, weight gain, food addictions, yeast infections, and really much, much more. I would say that the predominant number of chronic illnesses in this, at least in the Western world, that we experience is in some way, part and parcel, a result of something going on in the endocrine system, and in particular, something going on with the healthy function of the thyroid. So we say, if you want to learn to be strong, sharp, healthy, and sexy, and who doesn't, right? Then you have to live your strategy by type, or putting that into plain English, you have to know your unique way of making decisions and how to tap into your unique decision-making strategy correctly. So get your human design chart, get your free report, and start looking at what is your energy type, how are you energetically configured to make good choices in life so that you can start making decisions and take actions that are in alignment with who you really are. Not just because it's fun and juicy and your life will get a lot better, but you'll be healthier and you'll protect your thyroid and you'll keep your entire physical body from collapsing and coming down. So let's look at, again, some other burnout markers in the chart. And when I'm looking at burnout markers in the chart, I am not saying that if you have this in your chart, you're going to burn out, okay? I'm saying that when I look at a chart and I assess it from a physiological perspective, these are the things that I will see sometimes as potential markers in the chart that kind of get my attention, because I'm going to look at it and go, okay, what's going on with this energy and how can we bring out the most of this energy? This energy, this channel 2946, if you have this colored in, and it can be black, red, checkered, or you can have one half, or you can have the other half. You have this colored in your chart. You are designed for your physical body, because this is the energy of embodiment. You are actually designed for your physical body to be the barometer of alignment with your life force energy. What that means is that if you have this particular energy in your chart, you don't have as much wiggle room, okay, to get away with fudging on not expressing your true purpose in life. If we say of this channel, if you have this energy in your chart, you are designed to succeed where others fail and fail where others succeed. You can do something really beautifully unusual and not be so good at being normal when it comes to employment. If you compromise and you have this energy and you try to just do what you got to do to get by, and you don't really push through with determination and perseverance into the full expression of who you really are, and you have this energy, the first thing that usually goes is your body. And I always tell people, if you have this in your chart, pay attention to your body, because your body's going to tell you lickety split if you're not really functioning where you need to be functioning or doing what you came here to do. Your body's going to be the barometer on your life path. If you used to get off your life path, your body's going to tell you right away. The second marker for potential burnout issues, and truly this is not so much, this is not so much about whether this is colored in or whether this is white on your chart. I will say that this is an issue for almost all of us. And the reason why this is an issue for almost all of us is because we are taught to use our minds to create. Whether you want to take that to a metaphysical place where we say your thoughts create your reality, which that's partially true, and whether you want to say, take a much more linear, third-dimensional perspective on this and say, it's our mind, our rational, reasonable mind that gives us the inspiration to create what we want to create in life. Either way, whether you want to go the woo-woo route or you want to go the normal route, your mind, the mind, is something that we really don't understand the mechanics of, and most of us are not using our minds correctly. If you are worried, if you are under pressure to figure things out, if you are following inspirations that show up in your head and not waiting for the universe or the world or life to unfold in front of you, if you are squeezing your brain every day trying to figure things out and you're under tremendous pressure to figure things out, or here's the opposite of that, you think you have got all the answers and you are so locked into your answers and you are operating strictly from a mental plane and creating from a mental plane, and you're worried if it's not creating the results that you think it should be, and you're locked into perspectives that make you think it should be this way, and you have expectations, or you don't have the answer and you're worried and you can't figure it out. Anytime we get up here, okay, we use a lot of energy, especially if you start slipping into worry or the pressure to figure things out. If you feel confused and you don't have clarity, if you're not using your mind as a source of potential inspiration, and if you're not using your mind to synchronize your emotional body, to synchronize your heart to attract what you want to be attracting in your life, that's how it works in alchemy. It's not about having a vision or an affirmation or holding on to a fixed thought and trying to create it and manifest it. That's not using your mind correctly. You're not using your mind correctly. You have the potential to have issues with mental illness, issues with headaches, head injury, eye problems, the pituitary, and I'm going to add one thing onto here that's not on this list, so write it down. The pineal gland is located up here. And if you're not using your pineal gland correctly, that pineal gland is the interface between your spirit and time in the third dimension. It actually literally has rods and cones in it. Sometimes we call it the third eye. It is responsible for regulating your circadian rhythms. It attunes you to things like day and night and the rhythms of the seasons and the movement of the planet in space. If your pineal gland isn't functioning well because you've over-worried and other physiological things that sometimes happen to it, not only will you struggle with things like your natural inner rhythm for day and night and sleep and wakefulness, it also is the part of the brain that is responsible for connecting to higher source. You will start to feel like your frequency and your connection to God is being jammed. And you might feel like, oh my God, my people have dropped me off in a spaceship and left me here and it's so dense and it's so heavy. You will lose out on a deeper spiritual connection if you're not using your mind correctly. Next thing, the gate 12. The gate 12, well, let's go back. Let's do this one real quick. The throat center, I think I already said this, but again, the throat center is the center for your thyroid, the master gland of the endocrine system, and the throat and the voice. You're not using this energy correctly, you're going to blow your endocrine system or your throat or your voice. The next thing on the list, the gate 12. The gate 12 is actually the energy where we carry the breath. It is as such metaphysically inspiration, literally. It is also breathing or feeling like you have the freedom to breathe or be smothered or feel smothered. It is a place where we hold depression. If you have this energy in your chart, you might find that you are more prone to issues with breathing or depression as a symptom of your burnout. Next slide, the will center. I would say that 100% of the people on this planet are not using this energy correctly. First of all, most of us, 7/8 of us, do not inherently have willpower, not in the way in which our society defines willpower. So most of us are pushing forward with willpower we don't have. And consequently, we are burning ourselves out. This energy is actually designed to have cycles of rest built into it. We are not designed to work 24/7 all the time. We are not designed even to work 7 days a week all the time. We are designed to have cycles of off time and downtime. And most of us are not taking it correctly. And most of us, when we don't take it, we're not taking it because we're terrified that we don't have enough, or we're not going to be supported, or we're going to lose money, or something bad is going to happen to us if we stop and rest. And the truth is, something bad will more likely happen to you if you don't rest rather than if you do. The will center is the energy center for the heart and the lungs, the stomach, the thymus, which is responsible for managing the immune system, and consequently, when it's not functioning properly, can create autoimmune disorders, burnout, literally, like that whole addictions, and even shocking health events can happen if you're not using this energy correctly. The emotional solar plexus. Half of us are empathic, meaning half of us are feeling everybody else's emotional energy and consequently probably adapting a behavioral posture that does not make a wave and causes us to be really, really nice because we don't want anybody to be happy, to be upset with us, because if they get upset with us, we feel it very intensely. So we're hiding out and we're covering and we're protecting ourselves from other people's intense emotional energy. The other half of us have a lot of emotional energy. And if you don't understand how this center works for you, there is a tendency here for you to be emotionally burned out. And emotional burnout will often manifest as either depression, it can manifest as diabetes, it can manifest physically as emotional eating or any kind of weight issue or nutritional issue. The sacral center. The sacral center is the center for workforce and life force energy. It is also oftentimes when we are not working correctly, meaning if you are either doing a job you hate, or you are working in a way that doesn't feel good for you, that's not consistent, that doesn't support your energetic fulfillment. There are, by the way, 70% of the people on this planet are not designed to work in the traditional way that we think of as working. I'm sorry, I got that backwards. 30%. 30% of the planet is not designed to work in the traditional way that we think of as working. The rest of us are designed to work, but we have to be doing work we love. If you start to just think about that, how many people are actually designed to work and do the work that they love? And how many people are not working correctly and still being supported in our society? It's a really messed up thing, this whole relationship we have with work collectively. When you're not working correctly according to your energy blueprint, you will burn out. You have the potential for autoimmune disorders, sexual dysfunction, and again, issues with weight, particularly if you have a history of sexual abuse in addition with that. In the human design system, there are 5 types. Some of the types are more prone to burnout just because of the nature of how their energy works. If you are a manifestor type, you are more likely to burn out around 50 if you have not been working correctly according to your type. If you are the projector types tend to burn out around 35 to 40 years of age with a very slow recovery if they are not working correctly and not waiting for the right invitations and the right recognition. Again, if you're new to human design, please get your human design chart with the report. This will explain all of this to you. The root center. The root center is the center for adrenaline energy. Half of us have it colored in, half of us have it open. I would say almost all of it are not using it correctly. If it's colored in on your chart, you have cycles or pulses of energy. They give you adrenaline surges for creativity and then surges, followed by cycles of rest. So the adrenaline center is on, it has a surge, and then it goes off and it rests. So if you have it colored in, you probably have never had the opportunity to really enjoy the rest cycle of your adrenaline cycles. If you have it open or white in your chart, you're always under pressure. It's the pressure to get things done so that you can be free. So you probably have a perpetual to-do list that never stops, that's always growing, that keeps you from just going, you know what, I'm just gonna take today off and chill. Because it's very hard to take the day off and chill when the center is open. If you're not using adrenaline energy correctly, you have the potential for adrenal burnout, weight issues, adrenaline addiction, those of you who love coffee, and anxiety disorders. That's the appropriate place to stop and drink my coffee, right? The channel 3955. This is the energy of abundance in the chart. We are designed to trust in our abundance and our support. If you come from a place of lack and making decisions in your life because you're afraid you're not going to be enough or have enough, or you're going to miss an opportunity of some kind, and that's driving you and that's motivating you, that's not actually aligned with who you are as a human being. If you're coming from a place of lack in some way, shape, or form, there is a potential here in this channel for that lack to be manifested in behavioral patterns that are emotional eating, hoarding. This is a place where, again, lack can create diabetes and weight issues. This is where the sweetness of life lives. And of course, this is where the pancreas and the GI tract is in the chart. So when you are not trusting in sustenance and support, literally, it can create issues here in the digestive system and in the pancreas, or the whole system of digesting sugars in the body. The spleen The spleen is the center for your instinct. When you are not trusting your own inner instinct and your own inner voice and understanding the nature of how your intuition works, and or you are allowing fear to rule your decision-making process, what we see here is you'll have anxiety disorders. There's a potential in the center because it can be, when it's white, very medically empathic. Sometimes you'll pick up stuff from other people energetically. You can have a sensitive immune system if it's white, to the point where if you're not listening to it and you're ignoring what it's telling you, then you'll push through it and you'll miss the cues for any serious illness and stuff that's happening. If it's colored in, you tend to be less sensitive, and oftentimes that means sometimes you also miss the big stuff until it shows up. So this is a place where if you've got fear ruling the roost, it's going to really mess up your entire system again, physically. The gate 28. The gate 28 is sometimes called the gate of struggle, which I hate that name. I like to call it the gate of adventure. But when you have this gate in your chart, if you're getting or feeling defeated by what you perceive to be the struggles in your life, it will create a dynamic of multi-struggles all throughout the rest of your life. So sometimes when you are fighting with this energy and resisting struggle or engaging in struggle and you can't seem to take a breath and align and find a way through it in an with an adventurous perspective rather than a defeated perspective, it can create the energy, and then the burnout can manifest as addiction, life-threatening choices, and ultimately, again, a struggle with health. Through this in here, because people always ask me about this, is there something in the chart that can show that you have a tendency towards near-death experiences? I find that near-death experiences sometimes can be really powerful wake-up calls that show us a lot about what happens when we are burned out. If you burn out to the degree to which your whole body says, okay, that's it, we can't do it this way anymore. Sometimes when you have the 28 and the 51 together in combination in your chart, you might push up against shocking experiences that cause you to struggle for life, and ultimately to struggle to find the meaning of life so that you can ultimately come back and live a life that's more aligned, more fulfilled, more energetic, and more vital. And last but not least, in the work that I've done over the years, I have found that breast cancer, and let me just say that I myself am a breast cancer survivor, so I know this one. Breast cancer can oftentimes be a symptom of burnout in women. Women who carry breast cancer configurations or women who have breast cancer on an energetic level are oftentimes lacking in self-nurturing. They nurture everybody else, but they forget to nurture themselves. Some of the configurations that I'll see associated with this willingness to give and give and give and give without self-sustenance will be the gate 27. That's the gate on the left. The gate 27 is the gate of responsibility. The gate 29, which is the gate of commitment. And an open solar plexus, which means you're empathic, so that center is white. So oftentimes when we see these three energies working together, we see a behavioral dynamic where somebody feels committed and responsible for being or keeping everybody in your life happy first. So you take care of everybody else and keep everybody else happy, and you don't take care of yourself first. All right. So I want to just give you an invitation real quick, and then I want to take questions. So on January the 7th of this year, which is a Saturday, I am doing something brand new that I've never done before. One of the things that I have learned over the years is that burnout, the energy of burnout, is like the single most powerful thing that keeps people from really creating what they want in their life. It's hard. If you're burned out and you want to get a new job, or you're burned out and you want to try something new, if you're burned out and you want to change your relationship, if you're burned out and you want to adopt new patterns and habits, if you're burned out, you don't have that extra energy that it takes to go into the process of being the alchemist in your life and creating transformation. Burnout will keep you back from creating what you really want to create in your life. And until you tackle that burnout, and tackling burnout isn't just going to be solved by resting, okay? It isn't necessarily going to be solved by making change, because here's the thing, you get into a circle with burnout. You can't make the change because you're too tired to make the change, but you want to make the change and you're too tired to make the change. You get stuck in these spirals and these spins. To heal burnout, you have to do a couple of different things. Number one, you have to physically take care of the body. That's crucial. Then you have to look at what's going on in the energy template for the body. How do you need to heal what pain or what misalignment is happening on an energetic level so that you can bring your energy blueprint for your physical body back into sync with your physical body's health and wellness. Then you have to look at what traumas, what belief systems, what mindset, what emotional energies are going on that are influencing the manifestation of your physical body and consequently, your manifestations of your energy body and consequently your physical body. So you got to look at deconditioning. You got to look at what's going on in your life experience, in your conditioning field. What have you been taught? What's happened to you? What's happened to your family over generations? You got to clean that up so that when you're connecting with God, the universe, the quantum field of infinite possibilities, whatever you want to call it, when you're connecting to those greater possibilities of what you could be manifesting in your life, whether it's physical health and wellness, money, relationships, right work, a deeper connection with source, you can't get there if you don't clean up all the stuff that's happening between your physical body and your physical human experience and your connection to source. Who you are is a filter that allows you to tap into source, God, the universe, whatever, correctly for you so that you can create in the way that is right for you, in the way that is aligned or congruous with who you really are. Everything that we've been taught about how to create, whether it's deliberate creation, whether it's prayer, whether it's success principles that are just about going out there and making it happen by having consistent patterns and habits, all the stuff that's out there about how to create is close. It's not wrong, but it's close, but it's not integrated and it's certainly not formulaic. There is no one size fits all formula for how you're designed to create. And if you're ready to go and on a journey to really say, okay, 2017 is my breakthrough year. The year where I'm going to tap into that authentic potential of who I am and actually bring it down onto this earthly plane and manifest it into full form. And if it's the year that you do it the way that's right for you, so that you can bring out your authentic self, you can tap into that vitality, that power, that lovability, that worthiness, that inner wisdom that is you, that emotional creativity that is you, that energy and juice that keeps you going and burning, not the midnight oil. I'm not a big advocate of burning the midnight oil, but allows you to leverage your energy correctly in a balanced and harmonious way. If you want to do that, and you want to learn how to do that correctly, I want to show you how to do this. The information I'm sharing in this all-day training is going to be, it's leading edge information. It's information that no one else is talking about. No one else is going to teach you how to integrate your energy blueprint with the quantum field of possibility and line it up so that you are deconditioning yourself on multiple levels and working on multiple energetic levels so that you can really bring into your life what you really want to be creating so you can create an amazing life. This program is an all-day, it actually starts at 10 a.m. Central Time, goes to 6 p.m. Central Time. We meet online with other like-minded souls. I'm going to give you strategic plans, templates, rituals, systems rooted in not only ancient secrets and alchemy, but also in quantum physics and modern science and neuroscience so that you can integrate mystery, magic, and science and really start 2017 out in a powerful, powerful place. The link to register for this program is on the Facebook page. If you register for this program before next Wednesday, you will get $100 off the regular tuition. Tuition is $197. I'm going to give you guys as listeners $100 off. When you register, please use the following code. Write this down because this is a secret code and I don't know if it's anywhere else. ALCH100. All right, I'll say that again. ALCH100. Soon as you register for that, you'll be invited to join our secret Facebook group so you can start building community with other alchemists out there like you. You will be given 6 really basic introductory lessons that are going to teach you some of the principles of alchemy, some of the more deeper esoteric elements of human design, as well as practical elements of human design. And then you're going to get a whole bunch of exercises, meditations, templates to work with so you can start the pre-planning phase and really go deep over the next couple of weeks and get clear about what do you want, what are you intending to create, what might be holding you back, what do we need to do to get that out of your energy field, out of your system. We're going to use the integrated healing by human design system to create alchemy in your life, and you will join me live on January the 7th, where we'll get to work and really do some practical, powerful stuff to allow you, support you, celebrate you in creating what you really want in 2017. Okay, Cindy, I'm ready for questions.
We had a couple comments, and just to remind everybody, when you put in the email today, that they have to comment down below down in the comments, the Facebook comments down below, to be entered into the sweepstakes while we're live now. So
yeah.
Jeannie said she's a burned out projector here. Tracy said manifesting generator here. She goes back and forth with burnout. Karen says my burnout is unorganized and scattered, where I normally am very organized.
I love that. I mean, that is oftentimes, it's a weird thing. You don't think about it, but when you get scattered, oftentimes that's a symptom of burnout. You guys can't see my desk, okay? The status of my desk is always indicative to me of my energy. When I am aligned and congruous and really creating in my flow and with where I'm supposed to be, my desk is like one thing on the desk, keyboard, mouse, and my cup of pens, and when I'm not in alignment and when I'm really like edgy with my energy and close to like, I need a break, my desk is a wreck. So yeah, good one.
Of course, Dawn did put a presentation, said for her the presentation stopped. Lynn is happy to join. Loves hearing what she's heard, very valuable information. Mary Kay says if you're drawn just a little to requesting your chart and reading Karen's report, give yourself the gift. The results are amazing. Then we did have a comment come in from our other secret, the other place. It says, I don't know the name of the person, but the person says, I feel burned out on the work I'm doing. I've been working in admin accounting job for 30 years, and I'm a projector. I was not working for a couple of years, 2012 to 2014, and I tried to find a better career path for me, but eventually had to go back to the same work due to necessity. And that was the comment there.
And that's hard. Yeah, no, and I think the thing is, there are ways to leverage your energy even under those kinds of circumstances, and that's a really powerful thing. I want to be really clear. I think we have this mythology in our life, in our collective consciousness, and it's a weird promise. It says, do what you love and the money will follow. And we have this idea that I'm going to be generating a revenue from my passion. And I think that's a really unfair myth to perpetuate, because sometimes you don't make money doing what you love. Sometimes you do something else that affords you the capacity to do what you love on the side. And sometimes if you're not lined up and in sync, you actually end up getting yourself in a situation where, and I'm not saying you deliberately created this, and oftentimes there's also a catalyst sometimes when we have these circumstances, situations. And there, again, it's difficult to talk about this without sounding formulaic, and I'm going to tell you every single chart, every single one of you has your own stories, and the things that you create have your own meanings and your own stories associated with them. And sometimes we just end up in situations where you just got to do what you got to do to get by. And I would never say, unless you absolutely physically cannot haul yourself to work for some reason, I would never say, screw it. Just do what you want to do and trust. Sometimes because there's a gap in our belief systems about that trust piece because of genetic programming from generations that have come before. Maybe your family, 2 generations before was really struggling in the Great Depression, and that's still part of your genetic code. You can't just blow that off and push through that without understanding that that's in there, and you've got to rewire that programming so that you can align more deeply with the belief in abundance and the trust in the universe. And then from that place, start restructuring decisions and choices. And if you find yourself in a situation where, let's say you're in a job you hate and you really would love to be in another job, but you're just teetering on the edge of burnout, or maybe you're already really deep in it, don't do anything first until you find some kind of a strategy to rest and restore yourself. What happens sometimes is when we get burned out, we react. we react and we say, I'm going to start my own business. And we try to moonlight it while we're working our job because we want to get out of our job. And then we're really too tired to work the second business. And then we're wasting even more energy taking care of the second business, trying to build it instead of dealing with the burnout, which is the original issue in the first place. And then we doubly burn ourselves out. And then we think, oh, I suck because I couldn't do my own business, and we're beating ourselves up. And it's really not what the issue is at all. The issue is that you need to stop and realign and reconnect with that balance between effort and relaxation, rest and restoration, and support. And if you don't heal that burnout piece first, and that's resting, that's also looking at how can you support yourself energetically on a subtle body energy level. How can you remove conditioning and programming and trauma and pain that might be keeping you burned out? You have to aggressively tackle that burnout piece first before you move into those next opportunities, those next things you want to create that will be there for you when you heal the burnout. But if you're creating from that burnout place and you're trying to get out of the burnout by doing something else rather than stopping, realigning, getting congruous, healing, resting, restoring yourself, putting yourself in a receptive position of support, if you're not doing that first, you're really only going to just continue that cycle of burnout over and over again. So I would say if you're in a situation that you hate right now, don't do anything except take care of yourself for now. And then see if you can get yourself back to a restored and energetic place. And then think about, okay, what else do I want to create? What would I rather be experiencing right now?
Okay. Other questions or comments. Wendy says, yikes, guess I'm a burned out projector, very scattered and overwhelmed. She's also interested in what you were saying regarding the gates. Astara said, great presentation. Dawn says, flip-flop between my defined head and my defined root. Paula says, burned out manifesting generator.
It happens.
That one kind of confused me, but I guess it could happen. Rochelle says, Rochelle says, I'm wondering about the issues you mentioned associated with the different centers. Do they mostly apply if that center is defined?
It does. It can be both. And it's really just about knowing how it's defined for you and using it correctly in the way that's right for you. So again, in the Alchemy by Design program, you're actually going to get an exclusive ebook that goes through the centers and talks about what's the alchemical wealth strategy for each one of the types. And we also go through each one of the centers and how to optimize the performance of each one of those centers, whether it's defined or open, so that you're tapping into your full alchemical / vitality possibility based on the centers. Yes. It can definitely be both.
Okay.
And it'll depend on a lot of factors.
Going through, Jane says, this is so helpful for all, especially for her, the queen of burnout, no motors projector with gate 19, but also my passion involves helping others with this. Thank you for this brilliance.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Deborah says, I've been struggling with burnout for years. This is such valuable information that I haven't heard of before. Karen in Human Design.
Good.
Karen wants to be added to the drawing. Yay, she liked it. Carol says, shoot, I keep accidentally deleting my comment, like miscalculating and tuned in today until an hour late. Very much wanted to hear replay. It'll be posted in about 20 minutes. My home and life feel like your desk, Karen. I know how much better is possible. Thank you. Mary Pat says, thank you for this conversation. It was realistic. And Debbie says, thank you. She's looking forward to Alchemy on. It's 1/17.
Yes, 1/7. It's on the 7th of the 17th. Ooh, that's weird. This is the 7th, 1/7/17, not 1/17/17. So it's on Saturday the 7th. Yes.
Jamie says, this is incredibly informative. Thank you, Karen. Kathleen says, my wave. What does it mean to follow my wave?
Okay, so Kathleen, I'm going to assume that you, when you look at your chart, on the right-hand side of your chart, you have a brown triangle. That right-hand triangle on the chart is called the emotional solar plexus. The emotional solar plexus is the energy center. There are 9 centers in the human design system. Each center is responsible for processing different kinds of energy. That energy center on the right-hand side is responsible for processing emotional energy. If it's brown in your chart, it means you have your own internal emotional pulse. The purpose of that pulse is for you to take your time to get clarity. There it is. So when it's brown and it's colored in, you need time for clarity. And while you're waiting for clarity, your emotional energy will tend to go like this. It fluctuates in waves. Traditional human design says it's a wave between hope and despair. I find that language to be really disempowering. So I always say it's an outer and an inner creative cycle. An outer and an inner creative cycle. It can sometimes be perceived as melancholy and happiness, but I don't even like to label it that way because I think it's different for each person. But you will have outer and inner cycles of creativity. While you are waiting for clarity about a decision, you will go through these outer and inner cycles. The thing that's important to understand is if you have that colored in, you have to wait until you get that inner click for clarity. And while you're waiting, let's say, let me give you a concrete example. Let's say somebody calls you up and says, I have the perfect job for you. I really want you to come work for this company. I think you're going to love it, and it's going to be the fullest opportunity for you. We're going to pay you and everything, and you're going to get to do what you really love. Even though in the moment it might sound to you like, yes, this is it, woo! It still might not be right for you, and you won't know if it's right for you. If that triangle is brown in your chart, you have to say, hey, this sounds really awesome. And right now I'm really excited about this idea. And I need a little bit of time to feel my way through it because I want to make sure that I'm really going to give you an answer that's going to be good for you and good for me too. So give me 24 hours or maybe a couple of days to feel my way into this and really do my homework on it. While you're waiting, if that opportunity in the moment that you got it felt awesome, and it continues to feel awesome for you over the course of a couple of days, then that's the right choice for you to make. But if, let's say you got an opportunity and you went, this is awesome, and then in about 8 hours you were like, God, that's a terrible opportunity. I think it would be terrible. What am I thinking? I must be insane. And then the next day you wake up and you're like, no, that would be fabulous. And then the next day you go, oh, I don't know. I think that's dumb. I'm not sure. That's not the right choice for you. Because what that means is that if you take that opportunity, every time you go through your wave, you're going to go through that same emotional process that you've gone through while you've been waiting. So your engagement or your relationship with that work is going to look like this. Yay, yay, ooh, ooh, I hate my job. Ooh, ooh, terrible, terrible. Ah, yay, yay, this is great. I love it. Oh, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. And you're going to be all over the place anytime you're in that commitment. So you need to wait for clarity, and it has to be consistent clarity over time. And if you waffle while you're waiting, then it's really not the right choice for you. The fear is when you're emotionally defined, is that if you wait, you'll lose the opportunity. You won't. And the fear is, even though it feels good, I should take it. It mostly feels good. Some of the times it doesn't, but it mostly feels good. Don't do that either, because those moments when it doesn't feel good, and they will come back, those moments when it doesn't feel good, you're going to have to use a lot of extra energy to really hang on tight to get through those cycles where it doesn't feel good. And that's going to take a lot of energy away from your joy. And eventually that wave around that work or that opportunity will start to flatline and even go down. And you'll start burning more and more energy trying to maintain and sustain yourself during the dark side of that cycle. And it won't feel good anymore.
Okay, we had some more questions come in. How many more questions do you want to take? Oh, you've been going over an hour.
Oh, let's do like 3 more questions.
3 more questions. Okay. Debbie says, does having a will center cause burnout more often or not? Yes and no.
I mean, I think everybody's not using the willpower correctly. If you have a defined burnout, a defined will center, not a defined burnout. If you have a defined will center, what happens is you can override your exhaustion with willpower. So you get to the point where you're like, oh, I'm so tired, but you can draw on that willpower and push through the burnout, and then you really burn out. And it's a different kind of burnout that can be much more significant than just feeling a little like, ooh, I need a nap. So yeah. Next question.
The next one was looking for questions. Mary says, if a chart shows breast cancer configuration, does that mean there are ways to prevent breast cancer?
Oh, and I'm going to say, yes, I do. I do believe there are ways to prevent it on an energetic level. That's precluding the environmental factors and the other dietary factors that can lead to breast cancer. And please know that if you have that in your chart, I did not say this, and I really want to drive this home, so listen carefully. That doesn't mean, oh my God, I'm doomed to get breast cancer. What that means is that you have a potential energy pattern. Potential. You may not be living it out, and if you're not, that's not even relevant. But you might have a potential energy pattern of being a little codependent with other people, especially around keeping them happy. And if you're not nurturing yourself, and you have, and you have that configuration, you're going to be more likely to struggle with learning how to nurture yourself. That's going to be one of the challenges in your life path. It doesn't mean, oh, if I have this, I'm getting breast cancer. And certainly I would say, if you do have that, one of the things that you can do to keep yourself healthy on all levels, not just in the health of your breasts or in the health of cancer, one of the things you can do to keep yourself healthy and vital in all levels is to ask yourself, anytime you get into a relationship with anybody, whether it's your children, your parents, your lovers, your husbands, your wives, your friends, whatever, is to ask yourself, okay, I'm feeling this emotional energy, and I know this person is sad or aching or has a problem. Whose problem is it? And if you can ask yourself, whose problem is it, and go, wait, you know what? That's not actually my problem. I'm not responsible for it. I don't have to be, I don't have to take it in. I don't have to do something about it. I can just be present to this person's process, and I can hold loving space for them, and I can go, okay, you know what? This person is brilliant, and they're very capable, and I'm going to trust that they can create what they need to create for themselves without me jumping in and taking care of it.
Okay, I'm going to have 2 quick comments and then the last question. It says,
Okay.
Veronica says, didn't think I was burned out, but physically yesterday indicated very low thyroid and high A1C test results. She's a generator, and she says, thank you. Lane says, I've been sleeping too much, hoping for relief and not getting it, so looking forward to having a better blueprint to start her healing. Here comes the question.
Absolutely. And let me just say this real quick with the sleep thing, Lane. What the research shows is that sometimes it takes like and this is not meant to be discouraging, but especially if you get into adrenal collapse, sometimes it can take up to 2 years of catching up with sleep, certainly 6 months of really good sleep before you start to see a shift in the physiology around burnout.
Okay, here comes the question. How long do you need to wait with the defined emotion center? Because Rochelle says every opportunity seems...
If I had the answer to that question, I would be a bajillionaire. Okay, so it's going to be different depending on each person. And one of the things I suggest people is, if you are emotionally defined, if you have that that triangle colored in brown in your chart, start keeping a daily log of your emotions and start seeing if you can see a pattern. Some people are going to be very rhythmic and very patterned in how their emotional wave works. Some people, your emotional wave is going to be triggered by things that happen in your relationship. And for some people, there's not a rhythm, and you just have to kind of go with, okay, how am I feeling today? All right, this is that point on my wave. And it does take sometimes a couple of months of really getting self-aware around that emotional energy before you realize or get clear about, okay, my wave feels like this. So, all right.
So
I want to thank you all very much for joining us. And really just, this topic always incites a lot of interaction, and it's something I think we don't talk about very often. So I really want to thank you all for joining us. Cindy, do you want to show everybody where the different buttons are? It looks like that's what you're doing there. Yeah. So if you want to download the handouts for this class and go back through and re-listen to it again, as Cindy said, it'll be about 20 minutes, and then the replay will be posted. If you want to register for the Alchemy by Design class, just click on that button. Remember, the $100 off coupon code is ALCH100, and I will also send you an email with the link and the coupon code in there too. Also, again, if you click here underneath this little booklet, you will receive not only your free chart if you don't have a chart yet, but also an introduction to the Healing by Human Design system, where you can discover your blueprint for health and some of the things that you might want to pay attention to in terms of maintaining and sustaining your energy. And if over the course of this presentation, or over the course at any point in time, you start to feel like you're overwhelmed with what's going on with you, you've been trying to tackle it, you're not getting much of a breakthrough, please click here on the right-hand side. I have beautiful, powerful, amazing people trained in the Healing by Human Design system, and they bring to the table an enormous amount of tools and skills. They've been highly trained. They can work with you on an integrated, multi-energetic way to help you heal and align whatever is going on in your chart so that you can live out the truth of who you are, that abundant, resourceful, vital, authentic, delicious, beautiful being that is you. So we have been doing these programs every week for the last 4 weeks now, right, Cindy? And because of the holidays, we will be taking next week off. We will have another seminar on the 29th of December before the new year. So stay tuned. I will update you about time, and I will update you about topic. So watch your email inbox. We'll give you some more information. I will also email you links to the Alchemy by Design program so you can get started on that today with the discount code. Mostly, I just want to say this. This has been a very interesting year, and hopefully, hopefully you all have had a good year, an adventurous year. It certainly has been a year of letting go and releasing old patterns. We are on the cusp of a whole bunch of new energy that is about really staying congruous and aligned with who you are and doing what you need to do to be who you are in the world. You being you. This is the thing I want you to walk away with today and walk into the new year with. There's nothing you have to do to make the world a better place. There is something you have to be to contribute to making this world a better place, and that is you have to be who you are. You have to be the person you were designed and created to be. I honor all of you for that journey that you're on that is all about growing into the fullest expression of who you are. And I want to thank you all for taking that journey, because the more you align with who you are, the more you create the space for everybody else to do the same, and the more you add to the beauty and the magnificence of the world. So thank you for all that you do and all that you be. And I just hope you have a wonderful holiday season, and I look forward to seeing you hopefully before the new year starts. And if not, have a wonderful new year, and I will see you next year then. Thank you too, Cindy, for your endless and tireless support and great slide scrolling and question answering and all the stuff that you do to make this possible. We couldn't do it without you.